Hi guys, it's Roy from Belados 3D here with another Blender video tutorial, and in this video I will be creating this low poly stylized spyglass. So let's get modeling. Okay, let's start with a fresh scene. In this scene we have the default cube, which I am going to remove. We don't need him anymore. I've added a few extra lights to help with the rendering, so I can see the shading on it. On the left hand side we have, in the UV mapping area, a palette texture which is attached to a material called palette, which I'll be applying to my models. And down in the bottom right hand corner of the 3D view you will see my screencast keys appear, so you can see what I'm pressing. So first things first, I'm going to start by importing a reference image, and to do that you press Shift A and select Image Reference, and that will open up the File Explorer. You navigate to where your picture is saved and load reference image. And as you can see, that's just a quick outline of the spyglass that I want to make. It just makes it easier for proportions and things. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move that up a little bit and back a little bit with GY so it's out of the way of the modelling. Okay, so what we need to start this, let's have a look at the shape of this spyglass. I'd say we need a cylinder, so let's press Shift A, Mesh and Cylinder. I'm going to reduce the number of vertices down to 14, and I'm going to remove the cap fill type from the top, so we've just got an empty tube. Okay, I'm going to shade this smooth by pressing right click and selecting Shade Smooth, and then on my object data properties I'm going to go down to normals and click Auto Smooth and just bump that up to 60. And what that does is it gives us a nice smooth faces with sharp edges. Okay, let's go into edit mode and we'll press 1 on the numpad to go into front orthographic view, and I'm going to press Alt Z to go into X-ray mode. And no, that doesn't see through to the the image, so we're going to have to come out of X-ray mode and go into wireframe mode by pressing Shift Z, so we can see the image behind the object. And if I press RY90 and press enter, that will rotate it into the correct orientation. So what I want to do is I just want to press G and I want to take that up to about here, because I want to get it in the center of this piece here. I'm going to scale that right down and bring it in so that it's the same size as this piece here. And then press SX to bring it in on the X-axis. And we're just trying to get it to fit inside those lines. You just need to move it backwards and forwards and make adjustments until you get it right. Now with this drawing I actually missed a piece on here. There should be a line down here, so don't worry about that too much. But what I want to do is I want to go in edge mode. I want to alt click this piece here and press E, and that extrudes, but I don't want it to move anywhere. I want it to snap back into position, so right click and it snaps into position. So now I can press S and scale it up so that it's roughly at the top of that piece there. And then again I want to press E, and this time I want to move it on the X-axis by pressing X, and I just want to move it out to there. Okay, and now I want to do the same thing on this side, so Alt select this piece, E and right click, S and bring it up so it's about the right size. EX, bring it across, and I've gone a little bit too far with that one. We'll sort that out in a moment. So if we press 3 to go into face select, I press Alt click on this line here, I then can press S and Shift X to exclude the X-axis. I can bring that back down. Excellent. So now what I need to do is I need to add 2 more lines in here. So I'm going to press Control and R, scroll up once, and press left click twice. Then S, X, and I'm going to bring them out so they're even to about there. And what this is for is just to define this piece here, which is going to be a separate leather piece. So I'm just going to alt click that loop there, and alt click that loop there. And in front view, I'm just going to press S and Shift X to exclude, and just bring it down just a touch. So now in solid mode, you can see that's defined that shape there. Okay, let's continue. And what we want to do is do the same all the way along. So I'm going to select this edge here and do the same. I'm going to go back into wireframe, and I'm going to press E, snap it back into position, and I'm going to scale it down. Now you can't see where you are on that at the moment, so if I now press E and X and bring that out, as you can see, it's a little bit small. So what I'm going to do is back in face mode, same as before, S excluding the X-axis with Shift X to bring that back up, and then I want to go back into edge mode and select that edge again. E, right click and scale, and we can bring it up so it's just above the top there. E and X, bring it across. Now this time I can press E and X and bring it across to here, and then scale it in. E and X to bring it across to there and scale it up. There we go. And then EX again, all the way across to there. And we just have to repeat that method all the way through. So I'm going to speed this up for now. Okay, so now that's all traced out and all the geometry is created. What we need to do now is do the ends of the spyglass and create lenses for them. So what I'm going to do is, with this edge loop selected, I'm going to press E to extrude and right click and scale it up down to about there. Then E to extrude and GX to bring it back, just a little touch there. And I'm just going to fill this cap in with the F button. And to make that nice and rounded like a lens, I'm going to press I and bring that down and just bring it out on the X-axis just a touch, and then do the same here and GX like so, and that gives it a little bit of a curve to make it look like a lens. Now while I've got it here, I'm going to face mode and I'm going to press Control plus to select all of the lens piece. I'm going to go to my materials tab and press the plus button and select the palette, at which point I'm now going to press U and R to reset the UVs, A, S to scale to 0, enter, and I'm going to move that over to a shiny little blue colour I've got over here, just about there, I'd say, and that gives it a nice little lens effect there. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side as well. So back into edit mode, into edge select and alt select this edge here, E to extrude and right click to set it back in place, scale it down to about there, and again E on the X axis back there and F to fill, and I'm going to press I to inset again, and then if I select these two edges I can bring them forward just a bit, and then the same with this piece just here just to give it that curve. Back into face mode, plus plus. U, R to reset the UVs, A, S and 0 to bring the UV into a 0 space, and we'll move over to the blue texture just there. And there we have our little lenses. Now let's do the rest of the model. I'm going to hide these lenses for now. And just hide them so it's easier to work with. So what I want to do is I want to select the whole thing. U and R to reset the UVs. A, hovering over the UV window. S to scale 0 and enter to move it into a 0 space. So I'm going to choose now in face mode. I'm going to press Alt and left click on this loop here, and then Shift and Alt click on this loop here. I'm going to press, you remember those little extra line edges we put in? Control plus to select them, and then I can move this over to a brown colour just over here. And that gives us the little lever sections of the Spyglass. Now if I press Control I can invert my selection. So instead of selecting what I had selected, everything else is selected. I'm going to move that over to a nice brassy sort of colour. And there we have the colouring. Now what I'm going to do, because the shading's not quite right on that with regards to colour, just to make the edges pop and you know, all these pieces here pop, I'm going to Alt select each of these loops all the way along, just like this. And then I'm going to move them, then I'm going to Control plus to increase my selection, and I'm going to move that down to a lighter colour. And you see that just sort of defines the edges there, just gives them a bit of separation. Right, so the basic modelling is now complete. Now we have to do the detailing and some beveling. So let's do the beveling first. So what I want to do is go into edge mode, and I want to select all of these sharp prominent edges all the way around using Alt select and Alt shift select. All these prominent sharp edges. Need to be selected. And that one, oops, that one. And that one there, and that one there, and finally these two here. And we just want to give them a little bevel. So Control B, and just holding Shift down for finer control, just bevel it out, just one. We only want one segment on the beveling there, and it just gives it a bit more of a rounded feel to it. Right. So what's next? Next, I'm going to add some detailing on the side of these, some stitch work. So what I need to do is press Control R, and I think 3 edge loops there, and Control R, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into face mode. I'm going to select all these faces and all these faces. I'm going to press Control and T. And what that does, if I unselect it, is it triangulates these. Now what I can do is, in vertex mode, I can select 2 vertices, join. Select 2 vertices, join, J to join. J, 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 J. Oops, don't want a G, G, J, J and G. And we'll do the same on this side. J to join, J to join, J to join, and J to join. Now with circle select by pressing C. Sorry, I want to go into face mode first, edge mode first. With circle select, with the C button, I'm going to scroll down, and I'm just going to click in the middle of there, click in the middle of there, there, and move it along. Unfortunately, you can't rotate and move the screen while you've got circle select on. So I'm going to have to press the right mouse button to come out of circle select and move the screen. Go back in by pressing C and select these last two, and then right click to come out of it. What I want to do here is I want to bevel. Press Control and B, holding the shift down for fine control. I'm just going to bring them out so you've got a nice sort of stitch pattern there. And then quite simply, U, R to reset their UVs, AS0 to bring it into a 0 space, and we'll put it on a darker brown over here. And now we have stitching on the side. We now want that stitching on the other side as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going into top view, and I can't split this down the middle. I'm going to do a mirror, but I can't split this right down the middle, as you can see, because it's in the middle of a face. I'm going to have to put an edge loop there, which I will remove again later. If I press Control 7, I can see the underside, and I can do the same along there. Okay, I'm going to bring back the lenses by pressing Alt and H and go into face mode, +1. With the lenses selected, I'm going to press P and selection. What that's going to do is separate these lenses from this mesh here, so that I don't have to change any geometry on the lenses to be able to split it down the middle. So now what I can do is, if I put it into X-ray mode with Alt-Z, I can then box select all the way across and select just that back half and press X, F, and delete it. As you can see, the lenses are still there. They're actually a separate object now, so they're not affected by this mirror. I'm going to modifier tab, select add modifier and select mirror. Now that's mirroring on the wrong axis, and that's actually mirroring the wrong object. I made a mistake there. I still had the lenses selected. So I'll select the actual spyglass and then add modifier and mirror. And again, that's mirroring on the wrong axis, so I need to turn off the x-axis and turn on the y-axis. And always make sure you turn on clipping, and the reason for this is because at the moment, without clipping, I can do this. I can move it all apart. If I have clipping on, I can then move it and it stays in one piece. Okay, and we just come out of that, and as you can see, we now have the stitching on the other side. So we just then go over to the modifier, press Control A to set that modifier, and now I can select my lenses and shift click select my spyglass, press Control J and make them into one piece. Okay, we just need to do a little bit of tidying up on this model. First things first, go into edge mode. I'm just going to select these extra loops that we put in. We don't need them in anymore, and I just want to tidy up this area here. And if I select this loop and Control select this one, and then Shift select this one, and Control Shift select this one, I should be able to press G twice to slide it into position over there. And let's see how this looks, because sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't. Sometimes you get little artifacts on there. So I'm going to press A, M, merge at distance, and go out and check the shading on that. And that looks fine to me. So let's do it that way. And we will select this one and Control and select this one, and then underneath Shift and select this one, and then Shift Control select this one, GG, and that slides it along the edge loop there, A, M, and distance. And then we just double check the shading on that, make sure that's fine. Yep, that looks okay to me. And then we do the same on this piece here. So we want to click this one here, and then Control click this one here, then underneath Shift click this one here, and then Shift click Control this one here, press GG and move it forward, and then on this one, I think we will need to move this one into towards the center. So if we click this one and control click this one, and then shift click there and control shift click there, I think that's all of them. You can go GG and move it back. And yes, it's glitchy at the moment, but I haven't merged them, so we will do that in a moment. And then on this side, we can select all these ones and these ones. GG, move them forward, and I think that one needs to go backwards. So there and there, and that one, and that one, and that way. Okay, now if I press Alt A to select everything, press M, merge by distance, and that's merged by distance. And that's knocked our poly count down by about 500 polys. Okay, so that's our Spyglass. Let's see what it looks like. And there we have it, our low poly Spyglass, as promised. If you've enjoyed this video and you've learned something from it, then please hit the like and share with your friends. And if you'd like to be notified of releases as I upload them, then hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope to see you in the next one.